Just let it sink in for a second. Let it sink in for a second. It's late night. It's late night, right? Yeah, 12:49 on the East Coast. Here it is. It's me again. Just trying to work it all out. I guess I'll keep it buck with you. You know, just got distracted. Just got distracted by all the stuff going on with YouTube and personal things that are going on with me behind the scenes. Not to say that everything is wrong, but sometimes you could just get sidetracked from what's really important. You know, finding yourself trying to hold on to different things and not realizing, hey, you know what? Things are gonna be all right. Things are gonna be okay. Things will be worked out. However, it will be. But the reality is, I just got distracted, especially with that whole 4K thing, and trying to just reason in my mind, what's gonna happen as far as my content and just the eligibility to monetize and you know keeping the passion for this thing, because it does become something, and then you have to remember where you started. You know, not monetizing any content. Not getting paid a dime for anything, or not even having the ability to get paid a dime for it. You know, so pretty much, it goes there. You know, even now, just letting it be for what it is. Just going through it and let the chips fall where they may. You still give yourself a chance, and you shoot your best shot, but you ask yourself the question. What is it worth? How hard will you hustle? But also looking at the distractions and focusing on the negativity, or focusing on the possibility of something being taken away from you. Can be a distraction, and I just got distracted as far as where I was. Just different things that I was going through my mind. You know, right now is just getting back to where I was. Just being at peace. With the situation, being at peace with what may happen. It's about being at peace with knowing that if you put your best foot forward, or you put forth an effort, not understanding but learning, knowing different things, you put yourself in a position to win, and you hustle for it, or you hustle for it on the level of understanding that you knew, which I hustled for it on a level of understanding that I had, and progressed over time from 2013 until this point. I mean, regardless of what happens with my content, with my channel, with the future of things here on YouTube, I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have nothing to hide from as far as my time on this platform, as far as my future. And I say this to say that, for anybody else, that may come along, that may go through some trials and tribulations or some strife, as it pertains to, what will happen with YouTube and what will happen with the 4K, watch hours and whatnot. And, the 240,000 minutes, you get that whole thing. You start going through equations and numbers, and I'm sitting down and I'm writing the whole, if I do 145 hours per day for 7 days a week, I'll hit 1,015 minutes, watched minutes, and I'm like, yeah, that's not watch minutes, but hours or whatever the case may be, 1,000 hours. And it's like, is it even worth it to go through all that? You just have to let things progress and happen naturally. Even now it's happening naturally. Like I said, I'm on here, there's 0 people on, 0 thumbs up, 0 people watching myself, but just talking, just relating, play it back for myself, I guess. Yeah, but it's easy to get distracted, it's easy to get blindsided, it's easy to, not understand, and it's cool. It's cool not to have all the answers. It's cool to fall short. You have to experience a lot of times failures in life and different things that can happen, and different setbacks that come. Sometimes it's not really a setback, it's a setup, as some people say, for another big opportunity. You never know what's going to happen. So it's about actually getting through the obstacles and understanding that these are things here just to make you stronger, just to push you to the next level. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you need to be pushed, sometimes you need to be challenged. Thank you for the one person that came through. Much appreciated. This is just about getting distracted. Sometimes you just get distracted sometimes, because things, blindside you, throw you off, take you down the road to places and things that you may not even be, wanting to entertain, but it happens. It's okay to be distracted. What's going on, George Romo? I appreciate you for coming through. I appreciate you for watching. I didn't know if anybody would come through tonight, but it is late night. It is 12:55 on the East Coast, so I definitely appreciate it. But this is just me talking about basically how I got distracted. I got distracted with the whole YouTube drama, not drama, but with the whole YouTube guidelines and stuff like that. And then other stuff personal that I was going on behind the scenes. I just got distracted and started focusing on things that probably wasn't the most important. You have to just put things in perspective. So this video is just about me putting things in perspective, just seeing what's important, what matters, where I should be, understanding to let the chips fall where they may. And I say that to anybody else in life. Sometimes you just have to step back and see things from another level, and let life, unfold the way it needs to unfold. Make your decisions, do your things, put forth your effort, and let the chips fall where they may. A lot of times we're not able to do that because we want to control things. You want to have things together. You want to try to right the ship. Try to have everything in your grasp. And sometimes it don't always work that way. Sometimes you have to learn how to fall. The reason we learn to fall is how to get up. Learn how to get up. What's up, Llama Monster? I appreciate you for coming through. Definitely I appreciate the both of you for being here. Thank you for just listening to me talk. Hopefully I'm saying something that relates to you. This is just about how I got distracted with the whole YouTube, guidelines and, just the things that would be taken away and the stuff that people work for, and I'm not alone, and people tell you, hey, look, don't worry about it because, yeah, it's not a big deal, keep pushing, keep plugging. And that's that part of it too. But there's also the other side of it when you say, okay, wow, I've worked and I put forward, effort to really try to, make a difference or really try to put myself in a position where I could win, and then things change and you have to adapt and adjust, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have to adapt. It's not a bad thing to have to adjust. It's not a bad thing to, basically, have to grow, as a person, just learn, how to strategize and pivot and move in a different way. And like I said, I really, 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 really got distracted. And I didn't realize how distracted I was until I was at work yesterday. And, man, so many different things was going through my mind. So many different ways I'm trying to strategize and figure things out. And I was reminded of something, that I learned from the old timers a long time ago. You don't have to have all the answers. Because you're not. You don't have to have everything figured out. Because you won't. You don't have to have everything, carefully planned out and strategically laid out for you, because you won't. You just have to be willing to go through it all and face any challenges. And maybe I'm dramatizing the situation or whatever the case may be. It's probably late night. That's probably why. But the thing about it is just that it's the distraction part of it that gets me, because the reality is, if the whole thing with YouTube goes the way it goes and I'm no longer on YouTube, or I don't meet the guidelines, or whatever happens, then so what? I ain't gonna die. I'm gonna keep living. I'm gonna keep trying to put together things and learn how to, maneuver and make the best content that I can make with the best resources that I can gather. Because the reality is I came this far with just a smartphone, literally just a smartphone, the smartphone that you're watching this thing on now. And it's not bad. 86,000 views, over 86,000 views, over 1,000 subscribers, countless videos, impact that's unmeasurable by the analytics of YouTube, or the status quo of society, so I could live and be at peace with that. I'm not saying it's over, but you just say to yourself, okay, if things change and it's really not as easy as it was or different from what it was, what do you do? Do you let it get to you? Do you let it beat you down? Do you get distracted and stay distracted? George Romeo said lots of folks upset with the YouTube changes. Personally, I'm not affected. My profession includes me. Yeah, definitely. There's people like that, George Romo. But it comes down to this. I think it's more of a matter of principle, because if it doesn't affect you, if it does affect you, working towards something and having the right to do it and then having it changed all of a sudden, when even YouTube themselves say, if you read their guidelines, said that at one point it was 10,000 views, lifetime views, and then you can monetize. So less than a year later, literally less than a year, a couple of months anyway, they say it's 4,000 hours. But they stipulate within that they're going to have other guidelines that they're going to have other people follow to see if the content is suitable. So let's say you're just at the threshold and you make the 4,000 hours. Now you have to go through the review process. So after you meet that, you have to assume or hope that all your watch minutes will be counted, because that's another issue in itself. You can have the 4,000 hours, and then they can say, well, certain content was not suitable. We couldn't tell where you were coming from, and all those things, be it as it may. I mean, I think it's just a matter of principle. I just think it's about understanding your worth, understanding your value, knowing where you stand, knowing where you come from. You know what I'm saying? It really comes down to the point where, will you let it distract you to the point where you're not who you are, or who you need to be, and I think I let it distract me a little too much, and like I said, I'm not trying to go on and rant and rave about it, which is cool, which is cool. Yeah, nah, you definitely got to live your life. Don't stress about it. I appreciate that, wild man. Nah, you definitely got to live your life and not stress about it, but sometimes it can distract you, especially when you work towards a goal and you get right there and then things change, which is still cool because it teaches you to adapt. It teaches you to grow as a human being. It teaches you to push. It teaches you to go where you need to be, And I mean, I like a good challenge. Don't get me wrong, but also too, I don't want to be in situations that are designed for certain people to fail, that are designed for everybody to fail. A situation where people are picking winners and losers based off of superficial standards. And I'm not saying this is that, but then again, like I said, I haven't taken the time to sit down and really flesh it out and do heavy research on it. I've read guidelines and got into certain stuff and, all that stuff. But this is not about that. This live stream is not about whether this is fair. This live stream is not about whether, folks are going to survive or, what about my revenue or the chance to monetize or whatever the case may be. Because regardless of the fact, when you're in somebody else's, space, platform, abode, dwelling, whatever it is, arena, they set the rules anyway. So you have to know whether or not you're willing to go along with that, adhere to that, abide by that, and it comes down to that particular thing. But what this whole situation has forced me to do It's forced me to look inside myself. It's forced me to look at, the content that I create and the platform which I put it on and the places to where I frequent. It really forces me to look and strategize and see beyond, what I'm looking at, to see more than I can see, to believe in more than I can possibly imagine as it pertains to content, as it pertains to just the social media experiences, not being afraid to try new and different things, to go to avenues and places that maybe once seemed closed to me or less trustworthy, and explore and say, you know what, maybe that over there would make sense. Maybe now is the time to do this, or maybe that looks good. What is it? What does it all mean? What is it all about? You know, it's about letting certain things be revealed as opposed to just trying to strategize and control everything. Because there's a time to control everything. There's a time to try to hold on to, key resources to get certain objectives for different things that you want to accomplish. But then there's also times to let go of that and depart from that and to just, let it unfold before your eyes. There's times when you just need to, let life happen. You know, I don't want to say go with the flow, but there's that too. But there's other times when you have an opportunity and you seize your destiny. There are folks that are there in that situation. That's kind of funny because that was actually a reggae song from somebody I used to date or deal with. I think the song says, "Seize our destiny, seize our destiny." Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna really get into the singing part, but at sometimes at certain points, it is about seizing your destiny. But it's also knowing when you're just distracted, when you're worried about superficial stuff that don't matter. And realistically, for me, there was a lot of superficial things in the last couple of things, and last couple of days that I was worrying about that don't matter. I'll say that again. There was some superficial things in the last couple of days that I was worrying about that don't matter. You know, Worrying about stuff as far as YouTube and what they're gonna do and what's gonna happen and where the money's gonna come from and if you can monetize and this, that, and the third. The reality is this: you could do everything that YouTube tells you to do. I'm talking to the big YouTubers down to the smallest of the small. You could do everything that they tell you to do. Who's to say they're not going to change up the terms of services? Who's to say? Angel of Vengeance, thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for the 4 people that came through. Thank you for the thumbs up. Definitely, I'll keep going a little bit longer because you folks have come through to support. Yeah, nah, don't worry. Yeah, nah, definitely, Llama Monster. I'm not worrying about it. It was something that did bother me for a little bit because I'm thinking to myself, like many of you out there is probably thinking, some folks just monetize. You're thinking about it. You just hit the 10,000 views. You just got to the point where you got approved for the YouTube partnership program. And then you turn around and they tell you, you got to do something else. Nah, it's all good. It's all good, Llama Monster. If you're buffering real bad, I thank you for being here for a minute, for a second, whatever it is. I ain't mad at you. Do what you got to do. I appreciate anybody that watches because I guess for the first couple of minutes, I was just really just kind of reflecting anyway. But these are my thoughts. These are the things that I'm reflecting on. And hopefully it's reaching somebody out there. Hopefully, I'm making sense. Yeah, Melanie, YouTube is always changing, but you keep going. It's a situation where, what, it goes deeper than YouTube, this whole situation. It's really something to do with content creation, the ability to monetize and make money anywhere. Because it does come down to a situation where you start to wonder, are we too dependent on the social media sites that we frequent? Are we too dependent on the YouTubes and the Facebooks and the Twitters and the Twitches and the Tumblrs, and whatever else is out there, and the Snapchats? Are we too dependent on it? Because think about it. These things go down, what do? That's why that's why you keep your day jobs, and it becomes a passion project. But I'll say this as well, Melanie. Sometimes, You want to be able to get paid for your passion, because I guarantee you this, there's a lot of money YouTube has probably made off of our passion projects, because ads get ran, and don't tell me, I'll say to anybody, don't tell me if you get a viral video or something, right, and you're demonetized, that YouTube won't capitalize on it. I dare anybody to say that. I don't care who you are. I dare anybody to say that. Don't tell me that YouTube won't take a video that gets 50,000 views, but it's not monetized yet because the channel was demonetized, that they won't take the opportunity to make money off of that video before they give you a chance to make a dime. And that's when it gets into a matter of principle. That's when it gets into a matter of, wow, what is fair? What is just? How hard am I working? Am I putting too much time into it? And then there's the whole SEO situation, or the tags, or making sure that you're being seen on the main page, and all this other stuff that happens, and priorities and favoritism and stuff like that comes into it. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to learn if you want to survive and compete in this landscape of social media. Then there's human nature of it. I mean, because the bigger YouTubers, are not really affected by it, but at the same time they are, because people forget that those folks on the bottom support people at the top, and then the people at the top are able to support the platform itself at large with the advertisers. But that's a side note. That's another conversation. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into that conversation, because it is what it is, and some people will argue against that, and I'm not here to argue even in my own live stream. This is just about distractions, letting these situations distract you, letting these things consume too much of your time. Like with me, I'll push my content and do what I have to do, and make it be known. Ro King is here. Thank you for coming through. But, I'm at the point where the chips will fall where they may. YouTube is going to do what it's going to do. And like I said, me getting distracted, it bothered me a little bit. Just getting distracted by the whole, like, okay, YouTube changing the guidelines or whatever. George Romo, it is about community, the good vibes, the inspiration, and meeting new people and spreading positive things. And I agree with that. But I also speak in principle as well. Even though it's about good vibes, even though it's about spreading positivity and having a good message out there, the principle is this: you should still be able to make money off of your content if you're doing it in an honest, upright way and you're not hurting anybody. You should still be able to monetize your content, and it should be fair in how those guidelines, are presented to you. You should at least know, how they came up with these things, because what happens is a lot of times these things are decided by a few people in the back room somewhere and just spread out to the masses. And now people have to scramble and try to figure out, how am I going to compete, or what am I going to do? And the reality is, some folks will survive, many won't. And that's just what it is. But not to be negative about it. The thing is just to understand where you stand and know your value and look at the options. I say to people, look at the options. If you're on YouTube and you feel like it's unfair, and you're a new subscriber or a new small YouTuber, and you haven't understood the landscape, I say take a step back. Learn social media. Learn about SEO. Learn about advertising. Learn how to create a video. Learn how to edit. Learn about software, OBS, Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, Sony Vega or Vegas or whatever it is. Learn about different things that are out there. Go to school about this thing. You really study. Go on YouTube and watch videos about it. Who knows? Go on Google and search. Go on Bing and search. The reason I take time to say all this is because it's a point where I need to get refocused. Like I said, the chips will fall where they may. I will put forth the effort. I will do what I need to do. But at the same time, I'm not going to go crazy. Let me give you an example. of what I was thinking about. And I'm sitting there calculating the hours of what I could do. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, yeah, 145 hours per day for 7 days a week will give me over 1,015, like hours for the week. And it was we had to laugh, me and the person that was figuring it out, because so you can't do all that hours. And even if I did it for the whole year, like I said, I did 145 hours of watch time. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to watch this 7 days a week, and I'm going to try to gain 1,000 hours that way and do all that stuff. It would take me about at least almost damn near a week to try to watch 145 hours worth of content myself, or even to ask somebody else to watch 145 hours worth of content, which is not fair. And then I had to start getting realistic. And I just heard, look, don't even try it. My conscience was telling me, don't even try it. Don't even waste your time, trying to rack up a whole bunch of content and do that. Now, don't get me wrong, I still release content and put stuff out on a regular basis, maybe a little bit more than what I usually do, but not to the point where I was thinking about it. It gets outrageous. You get to the point where you start thinking stuff and you have to say to yourself, hold up, hold up. It's not that serious. I have a job, I have a life, I have things going on. Yes, I have other opportunities that are existing. I have certain things that will come up. I could do my poetry stuff. I could push that. If YouTube is going to do what YouTube is going to do, kudos to you. Great for you. Keep more ad revenue in your pocket. Keep the big YouTubers happy. Keep the mid-sized YouTubers happy. Whatever. It gets to the point is whatever. And that's the purpose of this live stream. The purpose of this live stream is because I got distracted. And I got distracted thinking about something that is not that important. Especially if I know there's other avenues. I know there's other things going on. I know there's other ways to make money. I know I've done other things to make money outside of YouTube, outside of my regular job. It's about getting back to that and not being distracted. Because some people can become so dependent on particular ways to make money in different streams of revenue that you forget that you're good. You're good without these particular things. Just like I almost thought about it. There was a funny thing before this whole thing happened. I thought about not being on YouTube. I thought about, the day that I would leave. I thought about the different things that would transpire. And my thing is like, hey, I'm at peace with that too. I'll do what I have to do, which is cool. And like I said, I'm not trying to depress anybody. I'm not trying to scare anybody off. But the reality is, you let the chips fall where they may. You get better, you learn, you grow, you do what you have to do. But it is about letting the chips fall where they may. Yeah, Ro King, it's all good, And to those folks that are making money, that are doing their thing, that are out there thriving and succeeding, I wish you all the best. I'm not a hater, because there are people out there who are saying, screw the big YouTubers and the mid-level and all this other stuff. I even thought about that myself, but at the same time, nah, nothing but love, nothing but peace to you, nothing but prosperity to you, because, you'll need it. You'll definitely need it in this new and ever-changing landscape. So, hopefully to the bigger YouTubers, to the people making money, to the folks that have passed the threshold, you're willing to pivot, you're willing to adapt, you're willing to take it to where it needs to go, and, that's really what I'll say about that, but this is more for the folks that can get distracted or sidetracked or worried and concerned about, what will happen next. What's up, Grim Reaper? Wow. Thank you for coming through, Grim Reaper. I'm just talking about, how I got distracted, basically, because of the whole YouTube thing and whatnot when it hit. I remember Rebel State Sovereign told me about the whole situation. And at first, I'm like, yeah, all right, okay. And then I'm looking at it, I'm hearing it, and I'm seeing it, and I'm realizing what it is. It's almost like what Grim Reaper said. Grim Reaper was talking about on his live stream, which I encourage you to go back and look at. He was talking about, hey, look, life comes first, work comes first, YouTube, that comes second. Yeah, nah, definitely, definitely. Thank you for making the rounds. I appreciate you, Grim Reaper. But yeah, when we were on Grim Reaper's chat the other day, yesterday actually, he was talking about how basically, work comes first, life comes first. You want to do particular things on YouTube, on social media. You want to try to give yourself that chance to make the revenue and push it and go where it needs to go. But the reality of it is that you want to make sure that you take care of your real stuff, your real business. And for those people that are making money off of it and doing, what they do with it, congratulations to you as well. I know that's not easy because it does come with a responsibility. It does come with people with their hands out and always wanting stuff from you. People always wanting shout outs. People always want collaborations. People always want you to come to their live streams. People always wanting advice or wanting you to share stuff with them. It's like gimme, gimme, gimme. So I get that part, you know. But for those folks out there that don't make the cut, that don't meet the criteria, it's not the end of the world. It's not gonna beat you up. It's like I said, you'll be fine. You'll live. For the folks out there that may never become YouTube stars or internet stars or the sensations, it's okay. You'll live. There's still plenty of room for people behind the scenes, for camera people, for directors, for producers. You know what I'm saying? For A&R people, for writers, for script writers, whatever the case may be. Actors, actresses, as well, bit parts, voice work. There's a whole bunch of opportunities out there. And I'm saying, you learn from each experience. Yeah, nah, definitely. It won't change the subscribe list, George Romo, but it is what it is because I've seen a couple of people who've panicked and were worried and concerned and things of that nature. And it comes to a point where, don't worry. Don't concern yourself because I was really concerned. I was really worried. I was really looking at it like, what am I going to do as far as, certain things? Could I meet that criteria in a certain amount of time? And for me, I got to a point, I said, I got to stop thinking about this. I got to let it go. I just got to do something else. Yeah, what's up, Yas Poet? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to you, man. Deep in the heart of Kentucky out there. I ain't been to Kentucky in a little minute. Man, need to go back. But yeah, on another note, like I said, life goes on, people live, world turns, and then, we do what we do. But for me, it's just, I found myself standing around thinking about stuff that wasn't important. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I get you right there with that, Grim Reaper. If you don't make it in 30 days, then you'll make it shortly after. For me too, I'm thinking to myself, if I don't make it in 30 days, then I'll put myself in a position, to make, the threshold or the watch time in another way. I mean, I'm even at peace with making it, towards the end of the year. If I make it towards the end of the year, that's fine. If I do a little bit longer live streams, which, forgive me, and I'm talking and it seems like I'm rambling on, then I'll do that. Yeah. No, definitely, Grim Reaper. Yeah. No, I mean, you don't burn yourself out. And that's what I was on the verge of doing. I was on the verge of burning myself out over something that was superficial, over something that, may not even be the best option. It may be an option. YouTube is an option. But is it the best option out there? Will other options appear? Will there be other ways to make money? Yes, there are. Because what people fail to realize a lot of times online, it is about showing your influence and being able to convert. Yeah, no, definitely, Yaspo. It's about being encouraged. And I'm encouraged by you folks that come through and support, and just show love, man. And just, give me words of wisdom, give me thumbs up, give me likes, reshares, the people that are really just there, in a genuine, organic way. Because I know personally, for you folks out there that are watching, you don't have to watch. I'm not paying you anything to watch this, like I said, but it is sharing and adding to my experience here on YouTube and helping me grow as a person. Just the interactions that I've had with the people like Grim Reaper, Yaz Poet, 805 Road King, Dark Matter, Cab 7, Lynn Denton, Lulu, Calvin's Corner, Grant Hubbard, Green Bay Wacky, Juice, Wesley Nash, Pride Foltz, and the list of names go on and on and on and on and on. You know, there's a lot of cool people that I met in the community that I will, continue to, be in contact with. Yeah, no, definitely. The best thing about YouTube is the cool people. Yeah, you do have a lot of interactions with cool people. People don't realize one of the reasons I'm even still probably on YouTube is because of 2017 and all the cool people that I met. Because of the fact that I moved up to 1,000 subscribers, and the fact that people supported me, and really just the engagement, the whole live streaming thing with somebody like Random Life Productions, was telling me to live stream, and I resisted it for a while. I said, why should I live stream or get on here and try to talk to people about anything, and interact with people about anything? I could do that behind the scenes. I could do that on another platform. And it's really changed a lot of things in perspective on how I see things as it pertains to social media, the live component of it, the fact that people are watching and you're able to you're able to contact me and send messages, and I could say stuff and respond back. These things mean something. This live stream means something. Every live stream that I do, that I have an interaction with people, even for a few minutes, a few seconds, it matters. It's relevant, and I don't take it for granted. I really don't. Like I said, for the 4 people that are watching, that are just listening to me talk, so for the people that like the sound of my voice, for the people that don't like the sound of my voice and want to troll, I appreciate that all too, because a lot of times these are genuine interactions. Sometimes not, but even though they're still interactions nonetheless, and you can learn from everybody. So here on YouTube, I learn from everybody, even if I've only spoken to you for a few minutes, a few seconds, a few days, a few hours, a few years. I've learned from everybody on here, and hopefully I'm able to continue to learn. I'm here on YouTube as long as it makes sense, just like I'm on this live stream, as long as it makes sense, as long as it's viable, as long as I can learn from you, we can learn from each other, we can learn from the world, and vice versa. Because there's so much to say, there's so much to do. For all that the negativity going around, on YouTube and with the guidelines and whatnot, I do have to be appreciative, or I think it wouldn't be right if I wasn't appreciative of the opportunity, to be on this platform. It is a blessing, and an honor to be on this platform and to be able to speak to people. Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I appreciate your amusement. I'm not really trying to come from a philosophical point of view, but you know, it's kind of, it just is what it is. Because I could look at the situation, as the glass half full or half empty. It's all really, the perspective I choose to see it from. And from the perspective that, at times it's half full, and other times it's half empty. And it just depends on my perspective and where I'm looking at it from. And there's times when it just seems balanced. Sometimes the cup is running over, and these are all just metaphors for how I see this whole thing. It is really what was said to me years ago when I was in the National Guard, and one of my sergeants said to me, life is what you make it. And I thought it was probably one of the silliest things I heard at the time. In my 20s, especially since I heard it before. I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean life is what you make it? I'm like, come on, you're wasting my time, bro. I got things to do. I got to get back to work. And you begin to realize, yeah. And you begin to realize, it is what you make it. Just like this YouTube experience, it is what you make it. Because if you see it as a situation where they're just taking away your money and they're just making you have guidelines, then you don't see the whole picture. But if you're overly optimistic and thinking that on the other side, because you've met the standards and because you don't, have that situation where your rights will be revoked, that you're good, then you're not seeing the whole picture as well. because things can change in the blink of an eye. They could tell you that, you know what, instead of having 1,000 subscribers, now you need two. Instead of having two, you need 10. You know, instead of having 4,000 hours, now you need 10,000 hours. Instead of having a certain amount of videos, you need to have more, you know. So yeah, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is, Grim Reaper. You know, so it's about understanding that at any time things could be taken away. At any time fortunes can change. At any time somebody can lose their channel. You know, at any time. Doesn't matter if you're big, you're small, you're in between. The question is, what are you doing with the opportunity that you have? Is it just a money making situation? Or is it more? You know, is it a situation where you just want to entertain people, or is it more? Is it a situation where you want to educate people, or is there something else that you're missing? So there's so many different ways to look at it. There's so many different approaches to take to it, you know. But what I hope for everybody on this platform or any other platform, that you look at this thing with a responsibility, that you look at this thing and you realize that the things that we do on this platform and the things that we say and the places we go with it, it affects people. You know, yeah, it's nice to get paid for it. Don't get me the lie. Somebody cut me a big check, you know, it's all right. You know, like Road King said, it's all good. I'm not gonna say that. Now, what they cutting me the check for, that's something I need to know. You know, because I think somebody was saying, I think it was a Rebel State Sovereign, who was saying that how you get it is important because you don't want to compromise your morals. And I was thinking about all kind of stuff. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was thinking about doing a viral video about how to make a homemade blowtorch. And I'm sitting there, standing there, and I'm saying to myself, the last thing I need to be doing to make a viral video is to be making a damn homemade blowtorch. And then some kid turns around, some 15, 16, or 6 or 7 year old says, "Oh, I saw this on Mel Mel, and how you make a homemade blowtorch is this way." And it's real simple, it's real easy, which I won't tell you how. But the thing is, with that, you have to catch yourself. You have to say to yourself, wow, there's a responsibility to this thing. There's, you know, there's something more. Large companies are streaming their business model. Yeah, nah, definitely. It is what it is with that amusement. Hey, Mrs. P, I thank you for coming through to the stream. You know, basically what I was talking about, Mrs. P, or for anybody else coming through to the live stream, I was talking about getting distracted. You know, am I up late? This is regular time. This is actually kind of regular time for me. I'm normally up at this time, unless I have to be up early the next day. And I'm probably not gonna go to sleep for another hour and a half. You know, I'm probably not gonna be on here for another hour and a half. Yeah, you're just starting your day, Mrs. P. That's cool. That's definitely cool. I'm just on here talking about getting distracted and whatnot. Yeah, no, it's like that, George Romo. Do you want to just entertain people with this, or this is something else? Do you just want to make money with it, or something else? Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to be on here to entertain people, yeah, no, definitely, Grand Reaper. I'm like a vampire, so I can relate to being up late. Sometimes I need to go to sleep before, 1 o'clock. I do that at times. Yeah, Mrs. P. Getting distracted is a part of life at times, things that we go through. But it's about catching ourselves at some point and saying, hey, what's distracting me? How do I get back on track? It's like Stephen Covey's, this, I think it's the 7 highly effective habits of the successful people. That's what the book is. Stephen Covey, the 7 habits of the 7 highly effective habits of successful people. I think that's the book. And one of the habits he talks about is learning to resharpen the tool once you've lost focus. Because a lot of times we lose focus in life, and anything can happen. Anything can blindside us. Anything can take us down the road somewhere to where we lose focus, and we forget what we were thinking about. And like I said, you can have it's Covey. I was trying to remember the title. But it's like about sharpening your senses and sharpening your skills. But people forget, when you sharpen your skills and you sharpen your focus, you have to resharpen this. Yeah, your greatest weapon is your mind. And a lot of times people fail to realize that you have to keep your mind sharp. But in order to keep your mind sharp, you have to keep sharpening your mind. You have to keep on your toes. And really, if you want to know the truth, what I think about this whole YouTube guidelines and whatnot, I think it's going to put a lot of people on their toes and cause a lot of people to sharpen their skills. So if anybody is in trouble, it's the bigger YouTubers. The bigger YouTubers are in trouble because you're complaining about revenue and other folks are complaining about this, that, and the third. What are you going to do when that smaller YouTuber who's hungry, who's young, hungry, and broke, and has nothing else to lose, and they go for broke? Or even that old timer out there who's retired and has nothing better to do but to sharpen their axe and chop down those trees. Or they have some young bulls around them that's willing to help them along the way. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Because now you have somebody who's willing to compete no matter what. And that's admirable. And then you have those folks that are willing to compete and go at it to a certain level and say, hey, I gracefully bow out. I've had enough. I ran the race. I fought the fight. And I keep it moving. There's different avenues and options that people have as it pertains to this whole situation, to any situation, because what I'm saying doesn't just apply to YouTube. It doesn't just apply to this particular situation. It applies to any life situation. You know, it's times we get distracted. There's times when we need to realize what it's all about. Because the reality is, I didn't come on YouTube just to get paid. Yeah, no, definitely, Mrs. P. Sometimes you have to know when to cut it off too, with your mind when you're sharpening it. But it is about balance. Life is about balance between the good and evil, between the necessary and the unnecessary, the dark and the light and whatnot. I appreciate you, Pioneer, for coming through. Um, these thoughts is not as good as I would like them to be, but I definitely appreciate you for just listening, for hearing me out, just taking the trip down this live stream with me, just through my thoughts and some of the things that are just going through my mind. And in particular, it is really about just understanding that you can get sidetracked. People will get worried. People will be in fear. People will panic. People will do things and burn themselves out to try to meet certain standards or status quos in society. And the reality is the whole thing with YouTube, it's superficial. If nobody else is gonna say it, I'll say it. The whole guideline things is a very superficial and vague way of telling you that they're trying to weed out people, and that they're saying, okay, well, maybe this one and that one won't be able to meet the criteria. Because if you wanted everybody to win, if you wanted everybody to be around, you would leave it the way it was. You would let people compete. You would do your homework. You would actually go through things manually and check out channels and ban people and take people off, and even bigger YouTubers. So not to get too preachy about that. So sometimes folks take the easy way out, even when they own the companies. Yeah, Journey said that they wanted to weed out the bad actors. Not sure what that means though. I agree with you, Journey. A lot of us don't know what that means or what they mean by it. I mean, I could assume from different things that I know, about bad actors and whatnot. Yeah, no, Pioneer. I'm just trying to speak my thoughts, not trying to be preachy. Not trying to tell YouTube how it should do its job, or anybody how they should do what they do. Like I said, I remember one of my cousins told me, they said, your videos, you're teaching people how to live their life. Like, nah, I'm not teaching you how to live your life. How you live your life is how you live your life. Even with how you run your channels, how you run your channel. I just express that people have different options. People have different choices that they need to make as it pertains to their content, as it pertains to the choices that they make in life, as it pertains to how serious things are. I love a video that Grim Reaper did um, on his channel. It was last year sometime about, none of this is real. A lot of it is not real because even if you look at the biggest YouTuber, let's look at somebody like PewDiePie. PewDiePie, like 50 something million, subscribers and millions of views on YouTube, a media darling. At one point, so popular, you on 2020 with Diane Sawyer or Katie Couric, whichever one of them it was, talking about how much money you make and, how you just stumbled upon this and you was on YouTube for a while, which is fine. As soon as the man messes up and does something, they nail him to the stake. And I'm not saying I agree with what PewDiePie did, but as soon as he did something that was unfavorable to the advertisers and made the company look bad, the first time, he was almost treated like a stepchild. Yeah. And it comes to a point where you say to yourself, wow, if this dude was at the top of the heap and still is, for a lot of reasons in a lot of ways, still is the most, subscribed YouTuber, and he was distanced and pushed away from, but they have to deal with him because of his influence. Who is anybody else? How do they spell the word, those thoughts in New York? What? How do they spell the word thoughts in New York? It's like, what thoughts? No, that's Boston you might be thinking about. That might be Boston or something. We still spell thoughts the regular way out here in New York. That sounds more like Boston slang. No offense to Boston. We love you in some kind of way. But yeah, fortunes change, man. People go through things and you just have to figure out, okay, where you fit in and how you want to maneuver in particular ways and whatnot. And it's just real like that. So for me, I just try to, recognize when I'm getting distracted, recognize when I'm worrying and concerned about things that really don't matter. And even, being concerned with things that do matter, you realize that it's only so much you can do. I think it was a saying from Confucius when Confucius said, he said, treat the small things with great importance and treat the big things with little importance, because you can only do so much. Once an issue becomes too big for you to handle it, it's not really much you can do. But when it's a small issue, a small thing, you treat it with great importance because it's something that you can prevent. What's going on, Lonely Prepper? What's going on, Danny? Yeah, thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. I'm just really just trying to speak my mind and my thoughts, just trying to say something, that may resonate with somebody out there. If just one person can take something of value from this live stream, just one person, be it live, be it through the replay, then I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. If I get demonetized, thank you, Journey. If I get demonetized and I never make a dime off YouTube, ever, but somebody's helped, somebody's inspired, I put a smile on somebody's face, then I've done what I came to do. Now, I'll be realistic with you. If it gets to that point, then it means my time on YouTube will become shorter. But it doesn't mean that my content will be any less potent. It doesn't mean that I'll try a little bit less, because I realize that there's real people on the other end of the screen. Whether we know each other or not, there's real people on the other end of the screen. What's up, Crimson Fantasy? Thank you for coming through. And I realize with the real people being on the other end of the screen that, you know what, hey, it is about the interaction. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Rebel State, I mentioned you a couple of times. Yeah, no, definitely. What's going on, Mr. P? Nah, it's all good. I appreciate you all. Thank you, paranormal investigators. I'm a little tired, but I'm just really just expressing my thoughts, speaking my mind, just really relating to the people. I'm talking about distractions, I'm talking about how, we can get distracted by different things how I got distracted by this whole YouTube thing with the guidelines and whatnot. Yeah, nah, I used to do late night streams a lot, and believe me, I could do some more if you want them. Like I said, I could do another late night stream tomorrow night if you want it. Just let me know. Let me know in the chat if you want another one. Rusty Faith, I appreciate you for coming through, because I do have a lot more to say about different topics. What I want to do is make a pivot. Yeah, Crimson Fantasy, a lot of us can get distracted, but we have to remind ourselves of what's important, sharpen our minds, get refocused, and keep it going. I mean, we all go through things. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, definitely, Mrs. P. I appreciate you, Paranormal. You're awesome as well. There's a lot of awesome people out there. And what I'm trying to do right now is just be encouraging to the people out there who may not make the cut. Because I seen somebody, what's going on, Cap 7? Good morning to you. I seen some people out there who said they won't make the cut as far as it pertains to the YouTube guidelines, because they're low and they're not at the level. And to those people, I say to you, don't give up. Keep going, keep pushing, keep pressing. Don't get distracted. Like Grim Reaper said in the chat, don't burn yourself out trying to go after these guidelines and these standards. Do it within reason. Put out the content that you want to put out. Connect with the audience that you normally connect with in the way that you normally connect with. Don't find yourself trying to do things out of character. Don't find yourself trying to, push yourself to levels that you don't need to be. You know, yeah. Well, I appreciate that amusement. I mean, hopefully this is a good discussion. A good talk about it. I really mean this. I sincerely mean everything that I say in this chat. I want people to understand that if you don't meet the threshold, that if you don't hit the cutoff, that it doesn't mean it's over for your channel. No, it's okay, Mr. P. I appreciate you for coming by, and Mrs. P. I appreciate all of you for coming by. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I appreciate that, George Romo. Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I like I said, all of you folks that came through here, come through here, because this affects us all. I mean, as a community, we worry about each other. You know, being able to be presented in our best light, in our best way, being able to monetize our content if we want to. You know, so that's something that's just really there. And I tell folks, don't give up. Don't be discouraged by the situation. And if you are discouraged, that's okay too. But assess it. Take time off. Take a time out, a brief time, and figure out what it means to you. Because when I hit February 20th, the 21st, if I'm not, monetized, or if I don't hit the threshold or whatever, then I just take a moment to sit back and reflect on where I need to be, and what I need to do. For me, it's like a challenge. I want to think. Yeah, no, it's not about the money per se, but and it's not about failure as well. Crimson Fantasy. It's just about understanding that different people have, different agendas and whatnot, and they have guidelines and positions that they want to protect. Maybe for YouTube, it's about money, but if you want to thrive in this particular situation, you shouldn't make it about money. It should still be about the content. It should still be about the audience. For me, right now, when I'm talking to you, I'm not making a dime off this video. I'm not making 1 red cent. I don't care what YouTube estimates that I would make. I don't care what happened. There's no super chat turned on, which I'm not saying anything against super chat. There's no PayPal set up, which I'm not saying anything against PayPal. What I'm saying is that this is just me speaking to you in a real way, on a real level, even though it's through the computer, saying don't give up, keep pushing, keep striving, keep going, remember what brought you here in the first place. Yeah, no, listen, there's a lot of the Crimson. There's a lot of us that first started uploading content on this platform for free, without the possibility of monetization. I started a YouTube account in 2013, but the reality is, before that, I had a lot of stuff on here for free. I gotta go check your comment above. Rebel, I'm checking your content above your comment. Um, yeah, no, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that, Rebel. I appreciate your content. I mean, appreciate your comment. Great lines, great lines, great minds do think alike. Definitely. I'm still gonna be here to support people. If I'm not by your channel as much, it's because I'm still trying to compete and go after it and do what I need to do to meet the guidelines. I will meet the guidelines, or I will at least put myself in a position to meet the guidelines in a way that's acceptable to YouTube. And I definitely agree with you, Crimson Fantasy. Let's support each other. For the smaller YouTubers, for the people that are not there yet, I definitely say support the Crimson Fantasies, support the Rebel State Sovereigns, support the Paranormals, support the George Romos, support the amusements and the anybody else out there that I forgot, the journey to a healthier me, support the people out there, the Jeanette Pickerins, the Pixies channels, all the people out there, the Cab Sevens, support different people, for those folks that lift people up, for those folks that are really encouraging. Hey, Mama Cat, I appreciate you for coming through. Support Mama Cat, even though she's already past that threshold. It is a community. One of the biggest things for me, Grim Reaper says I don't mind making money. Yeah, nah, definitely. It is what it is with that Grim Reaper. But like I said, that shouldn't be the only reason why you're here. So for some people, that is. I don't judge. But beyond the money, what is it about? Who are you affecting? You know. Oh, I thought you were past the threshold of Mama Cat. Oh yeah, that's right. You got the views. I think you got the views, but you probably don't have the subscribers. But like I said, everybody out there support Mama Cat, support each other. You know what I'm saying? As a community. Yeah, definitely Mrs. P as well. Support Mrs. P. Awesome channel. Great folks out there in the UK. Pixie's channel, Mrs. P. Random Life Productions, Eagle VP. Yeah, definitely Mama Cat. We can fix that. We got a couple of live streams that you may need to go to, Mama Cat. You're back in the community at the right time. We can definitely help you out with that. We'll talk about that. Yeah, listen, we can help you out, Mama Cat. We're a community. We can definitely help you get to that 1,000 threshold. Just stay active in the community. Like I tell anybody, stay active in the community. Keep pushing forward. Keep making yourself visible. Keep allowing yourself to be seen. Yeah, nah, we all got to stick together and just inform each other. Like, I thank Rebel Stay Sovereign, for letting me know about the YouTube guidelines. Because I got the email, but sometimes, you don't really check your emails. And he's telling me in a live stream or, in the chat, excuse me, hey, this is what's going on. And I'm thankful to Rebel State Sovereign for that. So, it happens. Yeah, it doesn't mean you still can't get the partnership after 30 days. Definitely, it doesn't mean that you can't, even after 60 days. So, like Grim Reaper was saying, yeah, definitely, Mama Cat, money would be great, but you're not worried about that. And I tell people out there, once you get monetized again, doesn't mean that it's time to sit back and rest on your laurels. When you get monetized again, don't forget what brought people to your channel. Don't forget what made it special. Don't forget what made the experience, worth coming to your channel. And that's what I always fight to do with my content. I try to remember what makes people keep coming back. If I'm motivational, if I'm inspirational in any particular way, that's the things that's going to draw people back and bring them back, to try to lift them up, almost like what Cab 7 does. He's a lot better at it than me. So my thing is just, understanding what works for me, understanding what my audience is expecting of me, and coming in between and, still being who I need to be. The money comes and it would be nice. Like I said, if somebody has a big check out there, if there's a sponsor, if there's somebody that wants to fly me out to an undisclosed location and have me speak to some people, I'm all for it. But at the same time, that's not the only reason why I do what I do. I do what I do because, I genuinely care about interacting with people. I haven't put on at least 3 videos. Yeah, no, definitely, Mama Cat. Don't change who you are. Don't just switch it up or whatever the case may be, because of what's happening. If you still put out the certain content, if you still got certain people that you want to, deal with, it's all good. Uh, yeah, yeah, no, definitely, George Roman. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. You know, like I said, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the opportunities. It's like Green Bay Wacky said as well. You learn to diversify. If anything, this situation is to teach anybody, be it you a big YouTuber, be it you a small YouTuber, learn to diversify. Much love and respect to you back, Rebel State Sovereign. As much love to you back as Grim Reaper. We're gonna keep pumping them out. Believe me. you know. Yeah, no, business comes first, Grim Reaper. But I'll say this, Grim Reaper, you had a great point in this live stream when you said don't burn yourself out, because you don't want to burn yourself out. Yeah, no, definitely. Mama Cat, we've made a lot of great friends, on here. You're one of them, cool friends. I have some good friends in this live stream, especially Cap Sevens, like I said, I know I've had George Romo come to a couple of my live streams. Like I said, this is not over. It's not over between you and me, all of us. We still got content to create. And after February, I'll still February 20th, I'll still be creating content. And until it doesn't make sense for me to be on YouTube anymore, then that's something that I have to explore, whether or not I'll keep creating content or not doing that. But that's a bridge that, I'll deal with when it's time to cross that. But for the most part, yeah, no, definitely we got our weekly videos to do. I mean, I definitely enjoy going onto your channel. Yeah, yeah, no. All your heroes in one spot. And it is the drunken one. The drunken one has been making the rounds. I gotta check you out, drunken one. Folks, go out there and check out drunken one. He's an awesome channel. Very good sense of humor. Very good with the wineries and things that he has going on there. Drunken one is very, very much making the rounds, and I appreciate that, man. I appreciate everybody for being here. Like I said, it's just one of those situations where I just had to say something. Yeah, every Wednesday we're gonna do what we're gonna do. When you get the W fix, that's funny. Lonely Prepper, you have a great sense of humor. Yes, yes, yes. Hopefully we all on each other's side. As a community, you want to be there for folks. When I get a new computer, oh my God. You got two V's as the W. Oh my God, we need to get you a new computer, Grim Reaper. We need to get you a new internet connection. Oh my God, I can't have a fast internet. Well, I am from New York, so never mind that. But it's all good. It's all good. Gotta go. All the best. Listen, George Romo, I appreciate you. I think you were one of the first ones to this chat early on when there was nobody in the chat. Now I got 12 people in the chat, 14 thumbs up. I think it's about to be 2 a.m. on the East Coast. And I think I've made all the points that I need to make. Definitely George Romo. I appreciate you folks. Check out George Romo. Check out everybody else in this chat. Yeah, I think I went over an hour now. I don't mind making the who doesn't. I think so. Stolen different. Yeah, no, definitely amusement. It affects people in different ways. Money shouldn't be your only motivation unless you see YouTube as a job and that's something that you particularly want to do. I mean, to each his own. But don't forget about the real people on here and the dope interactions that people have. The reason you want to know why I'm still on YouTube, if you want to know, yeah, that's good, Drunken One. Thanks for subbing to George Romo. Awesome dude. The reason I'm still on YouTube now in 2018 is because of 2017. And what happened in 2017? In 2017, I met a lot of cool people. And a lot of these cool people, probably all these cool people are in this chat. And it's too many to name and too many to remember. And that's what it's about. Definitely. Thank you, Journey to Health and Me. She said she subbed everyone in this chat. So I would ask everybody, check her out. If you like her, sub back to her. Check out Journey to a Healthier Me. Yeah, yeah. I need to make more cooking videos. People were talking about that spaghetti video. I finessed the water in that one. Ice is back, baby. Definitely, I appreciate you. Thank you for dropping the like. Everybody, check out Ice is back, baby. Um, Yeah, I think it's about that time. It's about to be 2 a.m. in the morning. I definitely, solely, surely appreciate everybody that came through. I appreciate people that will watch this in the replay. If you get to this point in the replay, whoever you are, if you get to this point in the replay, right, you watch the whole thing, I will give you a shout out. I will give you a personal shout out to whoever makes it to this point. You can quote me on this. I'll do it because I appreciate you for coming by. Love you too, Grim Reaper. Again, to everybody, spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Peace.